Maybe here? Ah, here we have some stuff. Okay. Paralysis. The higher your paralysis resistance, the less susceptible to your paralysis debuff. Lighting type damage contributes to paralysis buildup. Okay, so paralysis buildup comes from lightning damage. Got it. While affected by paralysis, your damage output is reduced, and the same applies to your enemies. Okay, so you can do it to enemies, their damage goes down, your damage also goes down if it impacts you. Paralysis buildups does not occur if you are already afflicted by paralysis. Wait, the fact that they have to specify that means that there's gonna be something in here that stacks on top of it itself. Oh boy, because they had to specifically like say that. Also, I just accidentally pressed R2. I think it was in character menu where it was. Yeah. Corruption. The higher your corruption resistance, the less susceptible to the corruption debuff. Yeah, while affected by corruption, you will continue to take damage, and the same applies to your enemies. That's exactly like Lies of Peace corruption. It's essentially toxic or so. It's like a stronger poison. Or actually, no, corruption in Lies of Peace also, it reduces your weapon's sharpness as well, so you have to repair it more often. The higher your despair resistance, the less susceptible you are to despair, while being affected by despair results in immediate death. And the same applies to your enemies. Wow, that's... Oh my god, how many things are they copying from software? What the hell? How many things are they copying from software? It's insane. This game has like specifically something like Elden Ring and Sekiro like at its fucking heart. Like, it's got so many things just straight up like damn near a copy-paste that it's actually kind of indecent at this point. That is literally just, what the fuck was it called in Elden Ring exactly? I mean, obviously, like, you know... paralysis, not paralysis, what was the Dark Souls 1, 2? It's not curse, I'm not looking for that. Petrification, yeah, that's what I was looking for. But, like, Elden Ring has this one effect that you can... what the fuck was it? It had to do with the Black Death rune, or Rune of Death. But, I mean, that's literally just lore of the game at this point, but, like... I don't remember what the status effect was called, but you could grow trees out of enemies by proccing them with this curse. That's literally what this is. And also, they are taking the despair into quite the heights, because, you know, normally if you're, you know, desperate, it does not mean that you immediately die, but this game, you know, you get a bit desperate, literally speaking, and the game just kills you. The higher your burn resistance, the less susceptible to your burn debuff. This is, I think, one of the debuffs that I already experienced. Oh wait, no, it's not actually. It was something else. What was it? I think it was corruption. I think maybe corruption is what I was actually... I think I have one weapon also that does corruption, is the spear. Like, it's, the spear's weapon skill actually does corruption, I think, when it fully builds up. The higher your burn resistance... Yeah, whatever. While afflicted by burn, you will continue to take fire damage and also suffer increased damage, and the same applies to your enemies. Ah, what other game was another one where if you proc fire on the enemies, they also took bonus damage? I remember there was one game that I played either this year or last year that had fire. But yeah, interesting. The higher your frostbite resistance, the less susceptible you are to frostbite debuff. Some enemies' attacks cause frost. Wait a minute, actually, I didn't. The despair debuff does not specify that it cannot stack on you twice or on the enemy twice, but it probably doesn't say it because it insta-kills you, right? Fun. You are... Wait. The less susceptible you are to the frostbite debuff, some enemies' attacks caused frostbite buildup, and lightness areas in the Cloudspire outskirts also contribute to it. Well, that's a spoiler, but okay. I'm not gonna remember that name, but outskirts? Yeah, frigid outskirts. Anyone? Dark Souls 2? While affected by frostbite, your maximum stamina is halved for the duration. Frostbite deals an initial instance of damage when it sets in. So this seems more like a big fuck you from the enemies to you. It does not seem like... Unless this is like Dark Souls 3, where actually frostbite even on the enemies actually procs very fast. Because one of the things about frostbite in DS3 that is very nice is that it procs on the enemies very fast. So despite of it not doing that high damage, the amount of you can proc it makes it actually worth running. The higher your poison... Oh yeah, this doesn't also specify that if you deal fire damage as a counter. I wonder if this... Like, how many things this game has taken from FromSoftware. I would be willing to say that it's entirely possible that the developers also took a note here from Dark Souls 3's book, which is if you deal fire damage to an enemy that is afflicted by frostbite, it resets the frostbite meter and you can frostbite them again. Because one of the things I used to do in Dark Souls 3 when I was running the game from start to finish, like, and making like PvP builds like daily or so, from time to time, like I used to run a rapier on my left hand, I think, with a fire buff on it, or fire infusion, and then I used to have Irithul Straightsword or something one-handed frostbite-wise on the right hand. And I used to proc the frostbite on a low-level character with very low like levels on like weapons, because so running like late game areas would be significantly more doable when you frostbite the enemy. You apply the fire to debuff, or the, you know, take the debuff away, the frostbite buff from the enemy. And then you reapply the frost debuff on the enemy right after. And you would just keep rinse and repeating that until the enemy dies. There would be only like few enemies in the entire game that would be actually like not susceptible to the frostbite buff, and that those enemies I would just kill normally with physical damage. But everything else was free go. So I wonder if this game has also taken a tip from that, because then frostbite is gonna be broken in this game. Because you can use the temper mechanic and the benedictions, I bet, to infuse any weapon in the game you like to deal any type of like elemental damage you want. Like I'm kind of imagining, because of how the benediction and the temper mechanic has so far like seemingly worked without me testing it further, because, you know, I haven't progressed in the game. So this is mostly speculation, but, you know, how many things this game has taken from FromSoftware, I just have to assume at this point. The higher your poise break resistance, the less susceptible you are to poise break. Poise break deals an instance of damage, and the same applies to your enemies. Poise break buildup does not occur again for a time after being triggered. So, is this something... I mean, it does not occur again for a time. What is the time? Like a small symbol that disappears almost immediately here when WUCHANG takes this poise debuff thing. Is that the amount of time? So you can proc it that fast, or is this like just a visualization? Or visualization, is that what this is? This could be obviously very broken. We'll just have to see, test ourselves when we get hands on that debuff. The higher your blight resistance, the less susceptible you are to blight debuff. I think this is what I maybe had instead of the corruption debuff. While affected by blight, you will continue to lose oh no, I didn't have this. I had definitely corruption, not the blight debuff. Yeah. Lose maximum health for the duration, and the same applies to your enemies. I mean, this is literally just another thing from fucking Elden Ring right here. It's the exact same thing almost. Blight buildups does not occur if you are already infected by blight. What the fuck type of damage was it? Dude, I haven't played Elden Ring actively in such a long amount of time, but there is a status effect in Elden Ring. I think it's exactly blight. I think it's literally blight. Yeah, I think so. Also, the front panel on my PC is actually closed right now. I need to open it. When did I don't remember when I closed it accidentally, but we need to do that before I... Okay, so yeah, that is literally just straight from Elden Ring. Same as it's kind of like they took the blight status effect from Elden Ring and they separated it into two different status effects in here. They made it like they separated it into petrification and, you know, the blight buff, part of the debuff with which you know, loses you a percentage of max health when you get hit by it. Also, the effect is also kind of the same as like Dark Souls 3's like jailers in like the profaned capital area, you know.